Dear student, today we are going to discuss new chapter, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. The name of this chapter indicate that there are some organisms who are just act as a friend and some are like enemy. You know the meaning of foe, F-O-E, that means enemy. So under this chapter we will discuss a lot of microorganisms. They are the part of our ecosystem and how they helpful us. All these things we will discuss. First thing about microorganisms. Students, as you know, microorganisms are microscopic organisms. Means those organisms we cannot see with the naked eyes, or we can say these organisms are usually unicellular in nature. Unicellular means single cell structures. We will discuss later on what is the unicellular and what is multicellular. So one thing is very clear here, the microscopic. Microscopic, as you know, this is the one instrument of microscope. Under this microscope, or by using this microscope, we can study about the microorganisms. Dear students, this is the very important slide. The name of scientist Anthony von Leeuwenhoek. Actually, the scientific study of microorganisms began with their observation under the microscope in the era 1970s. So we can say the study of microorganisms start when the Anthony von Leeuwenhoek discovered the microscope. Microscope, we can say, one of the major tool to study the microorganisms. Again, in the year 1850s, Louis Pasteur, one of the major scientists, major microbiologists, found that microorganisms caused food spoilage, debunking the theory of spontaneous generation. We will discuss spontaneous generation later on, but here the contribution of Louis Pasteur is very important, who discovered a lot of microorganisms. They are harmful us. Also, microorganisms are very important for our daily life, our daily needs. One of the major process, that is the fermentation, also discovered by the Louis Pasteur in the year 1857. About fermentation we will continue later. Another major scientist, or major contribution of Robert Koch in the 1880s. Robert Koch discovered that microorganisms caused the disease. A lot of disease are caused by a lot of microorganisms, like tuberculosis, cholera, anthrax, and also recently we are facing a major problem of coronavirus. This is also one of the causative agent or one of the microorganisms. In the year 1929, one of the major scientists, Alexander Fleming, just look the one picture of Alexander Fleming in his laboratory. He discovered the world's first effective antibiotics. Antibiotics is another term, means so antibiotics, that is called penicillin, obtained from a mold Penicillium notatum in 1928, and for this work he got also Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine in the year 1945. So these slides, some slides are just an introduction of microorganisms and some scientists worked on microorganisms. Next slide or next scientist, that is Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner is also called the father of immunology. As today we are just discussing about the immune system. So the vaccination, first vaccine discovered by the Edward Jenner for smallpox in the 1798 was the tremendous work toward this microbiology. So about microorganisms, I think we will continue in next video, next slide. Till that, just try to understand, and if any confusion, you can beg me. Thank you very much.